How long does a divorce take with lawyers? I'm Taylor Wins. I'm a divorce coach. I'm a divorce attorney. I'm also a divorce mom of four. I actually divorced my ex-husband twice. How long does divorce with lawyers take? Let's talk about what actually happens from my experience in the Minnesota court process of divorce with lawyers. I'm sure every state has some variation of this, probably fairly synonymous, but here's what happens. Somebody files for divorce or otherwise starts the divorce process, and the parties decide they're going to get attorneys. The next thing that happens typically is the attorneys are going to ask for some discovery to take place. So they're going to trade some letters back and forth that's like, hey, send me your client's pay stubs, the bank statements, the debt, the car loan, the lease, whatever. Give that to me. You've got 30 days to get it over to me. My client's going to do the same. Then there's something called an initial case management conference. It's like this pre-hearing that you go to decide what you're going to do next in the divorce. Newsflash, it's probably mediation. So a lot of lawyers are like, yo, let's skip this, because since we know we have to go to mediation anyways, we'll stipulate to the fact that we're just going to go straight to mediation. So that might be like 4 to 6 weeks at this point, maybe 8. Then you go to mediation. That's going to be, somewhere in that 6 to 8 week range, right? Unless your attorneys are moving really quickly. Some do, some don't. And then you go to mediation. That is either a 1, 2, 3, or 4 meeting process, as little as 1. I've seen as many as 4. With lawyers, you're typically doing the traditional mediation, which is like 3 to 4 hour sessions, where you're going to talk about in one session all the finances, and session number 2 the social issues. Not more than that is typically needed, because if you have lawyers, you're getting legal advice along the way. And then a lot of people at this point settle. This is usually where it's done. I shouldn't say usually, but oftentimes this is where it's done. And if it's done at that point, then what happens is your lawyers are drafting a stipulated findings of fact, conclusions of law, order for judgment, and judgment and decree, which is a super long name for your final divorce decree. You trade a few versions back and forth. You might argue a little bit about this term or that term, but eventually that bad boy gets signed, and because you're both represented, it goes off to the court, and that is the last you see of it, and you don't see the inside of the courtroom ever again, if you ever saw it at all, because being represented means at that point the divorce is over.